Hello, welcome to Ethos Music Academy. In this video, I am going to be teaching you about the grand staff, also known as the close call. The grand staff comprises of two staffs, that is the treble staff and the bass staff, which is joined together by a vertical line and a bass. Each of these staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. Let's do the counting from the treble staff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the staff, the spaces 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's do the same thing with the bass staff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the spaces 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the names of the lines and spaces on the treble staff is quite different from the names of that of the bass staff. But before I go into that, you need to know that there is an invisible line that divides the treble staff from the bass staff. This invisible line is known as the middle C. This type of line is also known as a ledger line. It is also noteworthy to remember that there are 7 letters in music: A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Once you get to G, you continue with A. The same thing goes with when you're counting the alphabets down: A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. And you go further lower by repeating that over and over again. So let's move on to the names of the lines and spaces of each of the staff in the grand staff. I'm going to start with the treble staff. I'm going to start from the lowest line of the treble staff, which is often regarded as the first line. Remember also that every line and every space counts. So let's start. E for the first line, G for the second line, B third line, D fourth line, and then F for the fourth line. So let's do the same with the space. F for the first space, A for the second space, C third space, and then E for the fourth space. So let's try that again now using alphabets. So let's go. So our first line is E, and our first space here is F, and our second line is G, and our second space is A, and then our third line B, and then our third space C, our fourth line D, our fourth space is E, and then the fifth line is F. Now, notice how I continued with A after E, F, G, and then A went on. Now, let's do the same thing with the bass. The lowest line, which is the first line, is G. The second line, the second space is A, and then the second line is B. The second space is C. Third line is D. The third space is E. The fourth line is F. The fourth space is G, and then the fifth line is A. Okay, so here you have it, the names of the lines and spaces of both the treble and bass staff. However, there's another trick to doing that, but also you need to notice how I arranged it. From G, I went back to A and then moved upwards. So let's go to the other trick. So now like I said earlier, we have the middle C, yeah, which is the invisible line. And then from the middle C, you can also get your alphabets from that point. So you have your C. In between your middle C and your first line of the treble staff, notice there's a space in between. So that space is called the D space. Good. And then, of course, your first line E, and then the first space is F, and then your second line is G, and we just end it here. The second space is A. So the same thing happens for the middle C and the fifth line in the bass staff. Now notice the space in between the middle C and the fifth line. So that space is your B space, and then the fifth line A, and then your fourth space G, and then your fourth line, of course, is F, and your third space is E. Okay, so here you have it, the grand staff and the letter names of the lines and spaces.